Ripples on Deep Water by Orphaned Account on AO3. Episode 6, Chapter 6, Demons. Mei practically clung to Izuku the entire day. Like, okay, yes, they were working with 1C, but that didn't make them all idiots. Couldn't she just at least try to make friends with them? He wasn't exactly much better, was he? Nevertheless, getting back to the development studio was a blessing. Support students had only core classes during the first half of the day, and the rest was dedicated to building and learning more about marketing support items. As usual, the lecture was probably informative, but neither Mei nor Izuku paid any attention to it. Knowing Maji-sensei, he would upload a transcript to the class calendar, and they could read it later. Instead, they stood in the very back, ignoring proper lab safety as they experimented with the formula of the pink bomb. Mark pure sodium and lithium as having no reaction. Mei instructed Izuku in a loud whisper, and magnesium made it slightly more vivid in color, but no other visible effects. Try putting a drop into the distilled water. Izuku waved his hands lazily towards a glass of it that Izuku had originally planned on adding salt to, just in case the pink bomb got out of hand. There was a beat of pure silence as Izuku focused on his table, crossing out more and more combinations. Maybe we should work on the erythrium net. Izuku-kun, holy shit! He looked up at Mei, who was pointing at the water. The water was now a cloudy pink that was rapidly becoming more vivid, and he watched in awe as the entire glass of water became the thick substance that was pink bomb before solidifying into its dry form. There was another beat before Izuku hesitantly jabbed at the surface. It felt a bit squishy and definitely sticky. Maji-sensei walked over with an annoyed look. Hatsume-chan, Midoriya-chan, I'll allow you to do experiment during lectures with the one condition that you don't cause a disturbance. What is it? Izuku looked up to the teacher, a manic grin on his lips. We discovered a new application of pink bomb. He sighed, reaching up with rubber-tipped fingers to pinch the bridge of his nose. You know what? You two. Just take the Mei vision. The hero classes are having their first fundamental hero lesson. Stay out of sight, take notes, whatever. Bring me improvements to their hero costumes. At least 5 students. If you get caught by the teacher, detention. Mei and Izuku just gave him wild smiles before snatching up their Mei vision goggles. Mei's bronze, Izuku's silvers. I'll be telling Aizawa about my assignment to you two and have him add grading depending on whether or not the students detect you. So others' grades suffer if he isn't caught? Neat. Time to see if he can make a lot of people get really confused really fast. Maji-sensei had directed the pair of chaos children, support students, to the supply closet, where the heroics teacher kept extra stealth suits for the students, and Izuku walked out honestly feeling like he was really taking his first steps to becoming a hero. Just a borrowed suit gave him a feeling. How stupid was that? It was shockingly easy to observe the hero students and analyze them. Really, Izuku supplied quirks analysis and how to design suits to better fit that, while Mei went over the more practical side of things. Somehow, Izuku forgot Katsuki was in this class. The last round, paying the lone hero against Engine Boy and Gravity Girl. They never stood a chance. He came into the room, all explosions and anger, and Izuku felt like he was failing, ear-ripping as he plunged into a different scene. Heat, hurt. Pain, hurt. Useless Deku. Pain, hot, burning. Remember me when I'm at UA. Heat, boom. Can you fucking hear me, Deku? Can you hear me? Izuku, you in there? Something was shaking his shoulders, and he looked over to next to him. Squished in the vents with him was Mei, and her Mei vision pulled up to reveal her cross-air yellow eyes. The exercise ended a few minutes ago. She told him in a whisper of well. Are you okay? He nodded, robotically. Let's just get back to class, okay? She frowned. Okay, Izuku. Izuku had been acting oddly, going straight to the bathroom and just staring in the mirror for a while. Mei was more than a little concerned. When he had spaced out, muttering indecipherable words under his breath in the vents, it was genuinely terrifying to look over and see her best friend, normally tired but attentive eyes, blank and full of fear. She knew he was looking at the scars, the red scarf he had donned not long after it had prevented her from seeing it. But she knew he didn't like it. Izuku had said before he felt like something was screwed with his head every time he looked at it, and Mei had mostly attributed it to the amnesia he had surrounded the radio charm manufacturing. But she didn't interrupt him. Izuku was thinking about something heavy. He did that a lot recently. A lot of heavy thinking. And as much as Mei wanted to help him, she knew when to step back and let him work things out by himself. Mei, I think I need to talk to you about something. She was sitting on her bed with the analysis journal open, looking up at her dark-haired friend. She nodded silently, knowing a wrong word could scare him off when he was like this. He settled on the bed next to her, hands wringing nervously, working at a scarf. His green eyes were dark, and Mei couldn't help but feel really, really unsettled. Before you, nobody liked me. Mei blinked. Izuku. Her Midoriya Izuku. Nobody liked him? What the hell? Why would nobody like him? He folded in on himself a bit, grabbing a pillow to hug it tight, and being entirely unbothered by the mess of wires that would stuck fast to it by the way something she had fondly dubbed the super glue incident. I didn't have friends before I met you, and my mom and I were always fighting because she didn't want me to be a hero or work in the support field. She just wanted me to be safe, but I wouldn't be happy like that, and she doesn't care. She just so controlling. Mei gently rested a hand on his shoulder as Izuku drew himself more. She was aware of his family problems, and the massive blow-up that led to him staying at her place more often than not. But she hadn't exactly realized it went that deep. And at school, it was fucking awful. And Mei couldn't do anything but rub her friend's shaking shoulders and murmuring comforts as he recounted the life he had led before he met her. She later scowled Bakugou, All Might, and Inko and red marker at the top of her shit list. That was nobody's business but her own. Izuku was her best friend, her brother, and now that she knew somebody had hurt him, they wouldn't get the chance to do it again on her watch. I love Mei being protective. I absolutely love it. Now, I have a feeling that in this fic, maybe Inko is going to be a little more overbearing in the sense of controlling. As I said before, the way she reacted wasn't the best. I wouldn't say it's the worst. But clearly, by the guess of it, we haven't seen the full story. Because if she's becoming to the point where she's being controlling, yeah, no. You do not control your kids. No matter what happens, you can't dictate what your kid does with their life. You can guide them safely, but you can never stop them from being something that they want to be or force them to being something that you want for your own comfort, for your own security, or for you to live vicariously through them. And in this instance, it is for her own comfort and for his security, quote unquote. But in reality, it's for her own comfort. Because I'll tell you this, he is, as sad as this sounds, he is likely to die in either whatever he does, because he's quirkless, and at least from what it sounds like in here, quirkless people don't live that long. I mean, I've read fics where the quirkless expectancy life is really short. I've even read fics where they're not even allowed to have jobs. They're not allowed to, get rent. They're practically like, once they turn 18, there is no point in living because they can't do anything else. right? And in fact, most of my fics aren't that bad, except they are bad because, like, the quirkless get what's called a quirkless tax. You know, pink tax, but for the quirkless. So if you're shopping at a certain store over and over, and the person who owns that store, and even if it's a chain store, if the people who work there realize that you are quirkless, they're gonna start upcharging you. Rent, if the person who you are renting to finds out you're quirkless, which most of the time they will, you will get an upcharge. Like, for example, I have a fic. I think it's Silent Stars, Hidden Hearts. That one, Izuku lives in a 1-bedroom, 1 bathroom. And by 1 bedroom, I mean it is literally 1 room. It is literally a room, a kitchen that is attached to said room, a bathroom, and that's it. That is literally it. That is the whole thing. That is it. That is all he gets. And it is sad to see that, obviously, but it is all he gets, and he pays so damn much in money. Like, he pays so much, it's ridiculous how much he pays. It is ridiculous. It is really ridiculous how much he fucking pays. I think I have him paying like $5,000 dollars. Here's I'm still doing research on how much would be an acceptable amount that wouldn't be too outrageous, but he pays a lot. Basically, he lives paycheck to paycheck. And even then, it's really bare bones. And the only reason he's able to do paycheck for paycheck is because his current employer pays him more than what would be considered minimum wage. And that's because his current employer happens to also be a quirkless person, right? And they understand, right? Like, for example, that quirkless person, nothing is in their name. The house is not in their name. The bank is not in their name. The business is not in their name. Because if it was in their name, it would be so much more costly. And as much as it hurts their pride, they understand that that's how the world is, and it sucks, but it is what it is. And yeah. Anyways, so, and even not having considering that, just considering the fact that many fanfictions have it where quirkless people do not get to live that long because of hate crimes, because of stuff like that. Inko, your kid is always in danger. No matter what you do, you cannot bubble wrap your kids. This goes out in the real world too. You cannot bubble wrap your kids. You cannot control their lives. You could guide them and hope that you did enough and that they listened. Because that's another thing. Helping someone is not a one-way street. It has to come 2 ways. You can push a car as much as you fucking can, and it will never move if that car is not in neutral. But you can't put that car in neutral. The person who's inside has to put it in neutral. So push all you fucking want. And yeah, sure, maybe if you're really, really fucking strong, or if you get a bunch of people, you could push it. But that's the thing. You would have to be exerting so much energy just to push it. If the person does not want to be helped, you cannot help them. A person who does not want to be helped cannot be helped. Sure, you could still help them, and it might work. But you're going to be wasting so much of your time and energy when you could have saved 20 more people with your help. With that much energy that you spent on one person. Sometimes it's not worth it. Because you're not always going to be able to push that car. You're not always going to have a tow truck in hand. You're not always going to have a bunch of people helping you out. So Inko did bad there. I'll admit that. Inko did bad there. I do not like that Inko is, even if she isn't actually being super controlling, Izuku's viewing her as controlling. And that's where you failed. If your child thinks that you are super unbearing and controlling to the point where they do not want to be in your house, where they find excuses to be anywhere but home, you have created an environment where your child feels unwanted, not safe, or not loved in an environment, in their own home, meaning they seek that elsewhere. And we're lucky that Izuku has a friend. Because this is unfortunately how kids get taken advantage of. Their home lives are not, maybe it's not abusive. Maybe the parent actually genuinely cares about the kid. But if you push away your kids, who do you think is going to pick them up? Because you better hope it's a good person who picks them up. Because if it's not, you just pushed your kids into the arms of a monster. You did. I do not speak from experience, guys. I know it sounds like I did. Okay, chapter 7 is called Bad Day. Summary, Izuku makes allies and nobody wants 1F to be on the field trip except for Maje-sensei. I would understand why. Okay. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.